Welcome to Career Coffee Chat Live. I'm your host, Erin Urban. I'm a certified executive coach. And what I do is I help emerging, evolving leaders have more career clarity and confidence so you can achieve more impact, income, and influence. Today, we're talking about stress without success. But before we jump into our topic today, I want to say Happy New Year! Happy 2022. And I don't know if you're a little bit like me, I'm still mourning the holidays. My Christmas tree is still up and will remain up until this weekend. Because even whether you believe it or not, I just feel like we should have Christmas for a little bit longer. Maybe I'm just holding on to it. And as you can see, my poinsettia is still alive. So for those of you who have seen my LinkedIn post, my poinsettia is still alive. And I'll hope to keep it alive for quite some time. So I want to welcome you to the show. So when you do sign on, please say hi, say your name, say where you're from, and say what you enjoyed out of the holiday season. What was the biggest thing, aha moment, happy time for you? Share with me what happened great for you this holiday season, because it's important to take those bright, shiny moments and bring them into the new year with you. Because after all, it's important to focus on what's working, what's positive, and what's empowering in your life and in your career, and bringing that into the next year is always a wonderful thing to do. It's great practice. Also, this time of year, some of you might be thinking about what's ahead, what's in store, and maybe scratching your head going, I don't know, it's hard for me to plan. Everything's uncertain. So we'll be talking a little bit about that as well. What's going on, and most importantly, how you can set yourself up for success without a lot of unnecessary stress. Because, as it may shock you to learn, success doesn't necessarily equal a lot of stress. I know. What? I thought you had to work yourself into the ground to be successful. No, that's in fact a myth. You don't have to do that. You don't have to work super hard to be successful. And I'm not saying lazy people get ahead. That's not my point. My point is, a lot of times we focus on a lot of the just being busy and being unproductive and just actions that aren't necessarily serving us, and most importantly being tied and shackled to miss that aren't helping you thrive as an individual. Let's say hi to Elizabeth. Great to see you. Yes, hi Liz, good to see you. She said she loved the time to reflect over the holidays. So it's always good to see you, Liz. I hope you're doing well. Hope you enjoyed your holidays. So some time to reflect. Yes, that was big. So if you've heard me talk at all, you probably know that the holidays is a big time for me to set aside time to plan and focus on the year to come. I always develop my business plan over the holiday season, and I encourage everybody to do that. In fact, my end of year show in December was about how to plan for success in the coming years and beyond. So we're talking about the bigger picture today. So really, instead of New Year's resolutions, which doesn't really work anyway, and talking about those things that don't really work, we're talking about things that do work and how you can set yourself up for success without stress. So let me know as you tune in, say hi, say where you're from. Share with me what your biggest bright shiny moment is over the holiday season. And for me, I'm actually still doing my planning this week as well. So I'm continuing the planning into this week. I'm meeting with my business mentor, I'm meeting with my colleagues, meeting with a broader network, and to understand what is to come for 2022, and most importantly, how to set up myself for success without the stress. We'll be talking a little bit more about how to do that later and some focus areas you can keep in mind so you're not just doing things that aren't really serving you. And to be honest with you, that's where we get sidetracked. We're so busy doing things, we're not really taking the time to think, is this thing that I'm doing actually helping me achieve my goals or even have the right mindset, or does it serve me physically? Sometimes we're stretching ourselves too thin. Liz says it's time to do something new. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's time to do something new. And we feel like that every year. Now, we'll be honest with you, last year, I did not feel like it was time to do something new. In fact, everything in my being was like, no, you need to just rest and recover and focus on what is working right now instead of trying to take on more and 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 do all the new things all the time. And it was right. Like that feeling was definitely right, because 2021 was a lot. It was a lot to undertake, a lot to absorb. And I don't know about you, but I felt like 2021 was like we're trying to make up for 2020. So we're even busier than before. So, somebody's planning on a TEDx. Let me see who this is. Let's see here. We got somebody planning on a TEDx. So sometimes I can't always see who's tuning in. So I want to be able to make sure I can see you. Oh, hi, Donna. It's great to see you. So, for whatever reason, permissions on your personal page aren't allowing me to show you who's saying hi. But Happy New Year to you. Good to see you, Donna. Great to have you on the show. She's planning on a TEDx. What topic are you planning on for your TEDx? Because that's a big deal. And where are you planning to have your TEDx talk? So I want to know all about that because I thought about doing a TEDx prior to the pandemic, and of course the pandemic kind of put the kibosh on that. So I put that on the side burner because I'm not really sure about the ROI for me as far as a TEDx talk is concerned. It's nice, but does it really matter? So we'll be talking a little bit about that and why I'm even saying something so shocking. But what is the importance for me as an entrepreneur to do a TEDx? Like, what is it? I think I would really enjoy it. So I'd love to hear, Donna, what your topic is and what you plan on doing. So I'm reading your book, and it's been such an eye-opener. Melinda says she's tuning in from LinkedIn. She says, I'm reading your book, and it's been such an eye-opener. I'm glad. Melinda, great to have you on the show. What was the biggest aha from my book, which is right over my shoulder here, Elevate Your Career for More Impact Income? So what was a big aha moment for you? And you'll be excited to know what big news I'll be announcing here in a moment. But let's get into our topic, which is about how do we achieve this success thing, this thing we always want. We always want success without stress. Now, here's one thing to keep in mind when it comes to success. Success is in the eye of the beholder. And you define what success is. No one else defines that. Yeah. That actually took me like almost 30 some years to figure out. That because up to that point we just kind of follow the societal programming, right? We figure, okay, well, I need to follow this path, whatever that path is. It's set for you by your friends, family, and mentors as a young person, and you follow that path, and they kind of define what success is. You don't necessarily do that until much later in life. Sometimes you wake up and you go, wait a minute, this isn't what success means to me. Success to me is having more freedom, or maybe success is having more flexibility in my life, or maybe success is something completely different than what was outlined for me as a young person. So it's very, very interesting because success is truly defined by you, not for you. And being able to take control of that and have more impact on what success means for you is sometimes a big eye opener and epiphany for a lot of people. So Donna says, I need to find out what I need to do so you can see me when I tune in. I know you're on LinkedIn. It's showing me that. I think it's in your personal settings, Donna. Something about, what you share. I don't really know offhand, but I will look it up and I will let you know. So I'll message you. So that way, Streamyard can pull in your information and your smiling face. So when I show your information, that's one reason why I also tune in on my smart device, because I don't want to miss great people like you having great comments and information. So don't be shy. I'll grab your name and let people know who you are on this show. So when it comes to success, it's very interesting. So yes, we define that. And it may shock you to also learn that success doesn't necessarily equal stress. It isn't necessarily a result of quote unquote hard work. In fact, usually hard work results in more work, and typically more of the same work. For example, where we get off track is like great leadership guru John Maxwell has been known to recite the pathway to possibility is paved with trade-offs. And more commonly heard, you have to give up to go up. The problem is, while these are great and very accurate quotes, what we translate this is success equals sacrifice, or success is hard work, or basically success is hard. That's simply not true. It's not true at all. Success is not hard. In fact, once you let go of a lot of the societal programming that has been beaten into you as a human being in this particular societal structure, in this particular culture, it can be very freeing to understand that success, number one, is defined by you, and number two, success is not hard. It's not necessarily a result of hard work. In fact, if you are focusing on the right things, the right actions, in the right space, and leveraging your zone of genius, success is actually quite, quote unquote, easy and freeing. Yeah, it's very exciting. And that's one reason why I'm not waiting until the nth hour at the end of the show or anything like that to announce the big thing that I have coming up. So, as a part of my reflection over the holidays, I was like, my 1 year anniversary of my best-selling book launch is coming up soon. In fact, January 27th will be the 1 year anniversary. So it's coming up quite quickly. I want to celebrate that. And most importantly, I want to celebrate that in a way that is meaningful and gives back to my greater community and wonderful people like you. So, I will be having and hosting a free Elevate Your Career workshop that officially opens up for registration this Friday, January 7th. I'm so excited. It will be so much fun. Really, really stoked about this. It is a free Elevate Your Career workshop. So it's based around the book. It doesn't follow the book strictly exactly, because when do I ever follow a script? Like never. So I've done a lot of research and work and learning since then. So I'll be adding some new things in there too. So it's a free Elevate Your Career workshop that will open up for registration this Friday, the 7th. And of course, please stay tuned. And most importantly, if you're listening to the live show now or watching the replay later, know that you can email me and say, oh my gosh, sign me up, because space is limited. Okay. What I won't be doing is having, 250 people on, because that just really devalues, everybody's experience. So please also, if you aren't sure whether you can commit an hour once a week over a couple weeks, it's not going to be like 6 weeks of workshop, but it'll be a couple weeks, 1 hour a week, probably in the evening, so we can make sure most people can make it. If you can't commit to that, or if you're not really sure, or you just like signing up for things and never showing up, please don't sign up for it. Okay, because I want it to be valuable and meaningful. But I'm really excited. This will be so much fun. The workshop will be, as I mentioned, virtual meetings over about 3 weeks, and it will kick off the 1st of February. So registration is opening up this Friday, the 7th. And the actual workshop itself will kick off in February. So you have plenty of time to prepare for that. And also, registrants will get access to my best-selling book for only 99 cents, and my Elevate Your Career Roadmap Guide for actually, I probably will give that away free. Yes, lots of free things. So free workshop, and you will receive the Elevate Your Career Roadmap Guide for free as a part of being part of the registration process as a registrant for this workshop. Plus a lot more resources like videos and guides and tools to help you achieve your success and achieve your goals. So more details are coming. Send me an email if you're listening in now and you're interested, or listening to the replay and you're interested and you want to get in. Make sure that you have a seat at the table. Please send me an email right away. Again, officially registration's open on Friday, but hey, I'm here. Let me know. Give me a shout out. So I'd love to have you if you're interested in elevating your career. Most importantly, without all the stress and complexity. If there's one thing that I'm great at and I have a gift for, it's simplifying the seemingly complex into something straightforward and efficient and effective. That's been my biggest driver, I think, as a human being, is making sure that we can accomplish goals in a straightforward, simplistic, efficient way. I don't like faffing around trying to figure out how to do something or accomplish something. It just drives me nuts. So I love making things effective and efficient. So I'd love to have you join me for the workshop. It will be so much fun. Let's see, we got some questions here. All right, so I'm in the primary stages of deciding my topic. This is Donna for her TEDx. Let me know. I want to know all about it, Donna. Let me know what's going on. And Liz says amen. So we're all about the success without stress today. So let me know again, email me if you're interested in being a part of the workshop, because if you're interested in getting results without spinning your wheels and just getting lost, not sure how to connect the dots, this free workshop is for you. Speaking of, back to success, people who are wildly successful do have a few common traits, and they are being adaptable. They're able to seize opportunity. They leverage their strengths, natural talent, gifts, okay, which we often overlook or push to the side and think, well, no. You can be really great at something you hate to do, by the way. So that doesn't necessarily mean that that thing is your gift. It's not. If you don't like doing it, it's not. It's not in your strength zone. It's not a gift. It's a learned skill. But the other fourth important aspect of people who are very, very wildly successful is they're able to simplify. Yes, I'm coming back to the simplification, being effective and efficient, being focused and targeted, and doing the right actions for the right goals. I really want to highlight this because this is a key element. Let's face it, we're not good at keeping things simple. Let me know if this resonates with you. Our lives are complex. They're complex. We're super distracted. We've got a lot of things going on, bombarded by information from every direction, with extremely busy lives. And we try to do too much in the available time we have. No wonder we can't or doesn't feel like we accomplish anything. And we rarely pause. Except in 2020, whether we chose to or not, we rarely have time to reflect. Now, this year, very interestingly, I think more people have taken off more time for the Christmas season than ever before. But typically, we tend to tie ourselves to too many commitments. We try to do too much in the 168 hours that are available to us in a given week. And sometimes these commitments are even ones that we feel like we quote unquote should do, but we try to do it all. We're so distracted, we cannot possibly be adaptable, seize opportunities, leverage our strengths, and simplify anything. I mean, how can we even do that? Because we're all over the place. So let me know if this feels something similar to you. I mean, do you feel overcommitted? So those of you who are listening now or to the replay later, let me know if you feel overcommitted or if you feel like, I've pretty much got it together. I've got some balance in my life. I have a good path. And if that's you, awesome, wonderful. But for a lot of people, it's not. And what's interesting is the answer to our problems are oftentimes right in front of our face. And we can't even see them because we're blinded to our own bias to the contrary. Now, what I'm talking about when I'm talking about bias is societal programming. And it all starts when you're very, very young, when you're a child. And you were told a lot what you couldn't do. No, you can't do that. No, you can't do this. And some of them, well, you probably shouldn't try to fly off the top of the roof or whatever crazy things you tried to do as a kid. But a lot of things you can't do. But you were told a lot that you couldn't, or was modeled for you that you couldn't do these things that you absolutely can. You were also taught to fear. You were taught to follow a program to achieve success. And also taught you how to be a part of society, which is important. However, not all of the programming you received is actually helpful or useful if you want to achieve success, particularly without stress. So let's take a few of these. For example, number one, I won't get a high-paying job unless I go to college. Not true. Not true. I know. Oh my God. What? It's not that I'm against going to college. No, I went to college. Loved it. Great time. However, it doesn't mean that you won't get paid well and have a very rewarding life and career. Going to college does not necessarily equal that. And by the way, getting an MBA doesn't necessarily equal leadership either. Number two, this one I love. You have to work hard to get ahead. That's dead wrong. Seriously, it is. And I lived, breathed, and died by this for very long. I almost did die or at least kill my career by doing this. Number three, if you aren't busy doing something useful, you're a good for nothing, which translated into be busy. So I would recommend, I posted in the comments for this show Dory Clark's TEDx Boston talk on the real reason why we're all so busy and what to do about it. It's a great talk. It's very eye-opening, and I love how she gets right to the point, because you know me, I like to get right to the point. So let's see, Donna says oh great. So Donna says she's going to check in and get some feedback on the talk. I definitely want to know about your TEDx talk. And let's see, Donna, she also says, I stopped overcommitting. Yay, good, because you've heard me talk about that a few times. Hi, Cornetia, great to see you. Happy New Year. She said, I've tried to stop overcommitting as well, but I might still struggle with this. I do too. It's okay. It's called being type A. It's fine. I'm not, as long as you're aware of it, right? Because whenever you say yes to one thing, you're what? Saying no to something else, right? So we have to be cautious about what we commit to. And it's not that we should be non-committal. Oh, I can't commit to anything, because I might commit to the wrong thing. We don't want to let fear drive us. That's not the point. But what's the point is to be very, very clear and confident about our goals. And most importantly, the why behind them. Because we'll check those goals. Well, oh, yep, got goals. I got goals. But we're not always investigating the why behind the goal. And we're not always leveraging our strengths associated with that goal. Is that goal actually in alignment with our why? Well, our why for being on this planet, or why for living? Because here's the thing, we have our life, and then we have our career. You notice I didn't say career and then life. We have our life, and then we have our career, and our career sits inside of our life. We oftentimes don't let our life drive our career. We let our career drive our life. And I was certainly that way as well for a long time. And I wasn't very happy, right? So in order to find that fulfilling, rewarding success path, we need to make sure we're in alignment. And I'll break that down more in just a minute. But yeah, it's common, particularly if you're a high achiever, to struggle with not saying yes to a lot of things because we want to do all the things. I don't know if you're like me, let me know if this resonates with you, but I want to do it all. Like I want to paint, I used to paint more, and I want to get back to that. I want to paint. I want to write another book. I want to do workshops. I want to do this kind of coaching. I want to do that kind of coaching. I have 14 different types of coaching that I want to do. And it's great because I can do them all. However, I have to choose because it's hard to reach the right audience if you're talking 14 different languages, right? I want to do it all. I want to learn how to ride a horse. I mean, I've ridden horses, but I'm not like a horseback rider, right? What time am I going to have? No. And then, of course, I want to have my personal pursuits that I already have, cycling and yoga. And I want to go to a couple more national parks. This holiday season, I was talking to my husband. We need to plan our vacations. Time goes by too quickly. I need to plan those now because we are the king and queen of last minute vacations. I even took a trip to Alaska at the last minute. Who does that? I do. Last minute Lucy here. That's me. And of course, it could be maybe a little bit smoother and a little less stressful going into the vacation if I planned it in advance. Yeah. So, but I want to do all the things. And I also know that I only have 168 hours. So I have to choose the right things, the best things that honor me, my core strengths and gifts and talents and who I am as a person. That doesn't mean I give up on other things. It just means that maybe in this season, I focus on this. And as I evolve as a human being, maybe then I could shift that focus to focus on something else. Maybe I can include a little painting. And of course, I do want to write my next book. Let's see, Matthew, who's also not showing up on Streamyard, but that's okay, Matthew. I know who you are. Matthew says, I think I found the setting that will not show your name. In settings and visibility tab. Thank you, Matthew. He's so super helpful. You're awesome. He says in settings and visibility tab, profile, discovery, and visibility off LinkedIn. Choose whether approved apps and partner services can find and display information from your profile. Very useful information. Matthew's on it. He's awesome. So this is where you go to see whether or not StreamYard can pull in your icon and your name. It's a third-party app that I'm using to stream live to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube simultaneously. So in order for me to see you, even on Facebook, particularly Facebook, can't see anybody. If you comment on Facebook, I can't see you on Streamyard at all. You have to be, let yourself be visible to third-party apps. So that's what it is. Thanks, Matthew. I really appreciate it. Happy New Year, and I'm glad you're on the show. That was so awesome. His was off, and now it's on. See, I can see his face. It's like magic. Woohoo! Technology is great when we know how to use it. And I don't know about you, but it's super complicated. I can't keep track of it all. So yes, I like to do all the things. And I can't do all the things. So I need to choose. And what happens is sometimes we get lost in what we like to call busyness with a Y. And then this was one reason why I really liked Dory Clark's TEDX talk, in which she talks about being busy and what to do about it, because we are lost in this busyness cycle, and I'll break that down more in a minute. So Donna says, thanks, yay. This is what I call community. This is why I love LinkedIn, people help each other here. It's great. Let's also talk about the hardworking myth, because that is my favorite. When you go back to the list of things that are societal patterns and programming that have been ingrained into our being, the work hard myth is a big one. And as I mentioned before, I used to live, breathe, and die, sleep, everything, eat on this hard work myth. And to be honest, I still struggle with the ability to rest and relax. My go button is stuck in the on position. Does this sound familiar to you? Let me know if those of you are tuning in. Is your go button stuck in the on position? Mine certainly is. It's difficult for me to just sit down unless I'm just so tired. Like I'm just physically tired. It's like, I just need to sit. But until then, it's like a rest day, but not doing anything. I'm not doing anything productive. That's almost never happens. Like I have to do something, right? And as a result, I think of this partially and our societal programming that tells us if you're not doing something, you're useless. This understanding that you actually need to slow down before you can, quote, speed up was a foreign concept to me. I never understood this concept. Even when I heard it, I was like, you need to slow down and speed up? That's stupid. I mean, what? Now I get it. I never understood it until now. What's interesting is this morning during my ladies walking group, it's a small town thing. We were chatting about how amazing we would have been in our earlier years, our 20s, for example, if we knew then what we know now. But I digress. So when I like to paint a picture for you, and this may sound familiar. So we talk about needing to slow down to speed up, because this is usually what most of our lives are like, or at least mine certainly used to be. And I posted about this on Monday. I used to rush into the weekends and then rush from one thing to the next thing. Before you know it, Sunday evening, I have no idea what the priority is for Monday. And then I rush into Monday and the week is gone, like gone, poof, it's gone. And I have no idea what I actually really accomplished. I mean, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to do. I'm distracted. I'm busy, but I'm not productive. And as a result, I rush around even more to make up for lost time. So I'm really super busy, but because I'm busy, I never really feel productive. So then I get busier, so I'll maybe get productive. Rinse and repeat. And I will be honest with you, that was my life from September till basically December 1st. Well, actually, December 14th. Just go. Repeat. What happens? Well, does this sound familiar to you? Let me know. Because what happens is I'm not focused on what matters. I'm not leveraging my strengths. I'm not intentional with my actions. I am a cannonball blasting through life. That's what I am. And I shared this, like I said, on Monday in a post, which was my first day back in the office in a long while. And I was like, I was easing. I was easing back into being in the office. And I was actually sitting on my front porch enjoying the day. It was very cold. And thinking about what truly matters to elevate careers and thrive, because it's very important to me this year, particularly to just do the right actions with the right focus, the right results, and most importantly, help my clients do the same, right? And what I realized is we are constantly sabotaging our success. We're really good at being busy. We're really bad at being efficient or productive. In other words, doing the right actions for the right goals. We're just rushing. We're just rushing. Next, 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 next. We're cannonballs blasting through life because we never seem to get ahead. We just buckle down and do more of what isn't working so we're even busier in the hopes that something will break through for us. That's insane when you think about it. When you step back and think about it and take a deep breath, that's nuts. It really is. It's crazy. But we do this. We do this. We're just go, 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 go. We don't necessarily pause to reflect. What am I doing? And is it the right thing for me to do? What's my cost benefits analysis here? Right? So let me know if this resonates with you. And I want to share something with you that Adriana Huffington said in a recent newsletter. She said, is a really good newsletter. It's in LinkedIn, of course, under Pulse. And if you're interested, I'll give you that link. She said, as we look back at the year behind us and look ahead to the new year, and as we come to the grips with the realization there'll be no idyllic post-pandemic future, we're moving into an adulthood as a culture. When we're children, we think that there will come a day when we have arrived, when we'll have everything we want, and we'll feel settled and complete. And when we grow up, or get more candles on your birthday cake, that's my ad lib, we realize that day doesn't really come. That life is a constant process of change and evolution. Similarly, we have gone from waiting for a return to normal to realizing that there will never be a static normal, that we'll never be able to just do maintenance on our lives. And that really resonated with me because the truth is the only constant is change. That's the only constant in our lives. And it has been always that way. The difference is change wasn't quite so stinking fast. We didn't want to admit that change was the only constant. Now it's like in your face, like right there. You're getting change at such a rapid pace. The thing is here, we don't like change. We're addicted to certainty. We like safe. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, let's just get that out there. So if you're feeling unsettled and unsure and like, what the heck, there's nothing wrong with feeling unsettled. There's nothing wrong with wanting to feel safe. There's nothing wrong with that. Because to our limbic system, our animal brain, change equals an unsafe, insecure, right, way of being. And it doesn't feel comfortable being in a constant state of this. And because the rate of change is so fast, it's very difficult for us to absorb it all. And as a result, a lot of us are either living in fight or flight, we're living in avoidance. I'm seeing a lot of that, avoiding reality. How many of you have seen the avoiding reality thing? That's great, isn't it? Oh, this is not really happening. No, it really is. Or we're keeping ourselves busy as a numbing device. Yeah, I said that out loud. So we're keeping ourselves busy as a numbing device. And it's also avoidance. Or we're keeping ourselves busy simply because we don't know what else to do. So we stay busy and do more of stuff because we hope that something will come out of it. We're just plowing forward. How does this resonate with you? I'd love to hear from you, those of you who are tuning in now or listening to the replay later. How does this resonate with you? Because it's really important to understand. Oh, Liz says she has to drop off. Well, don't worry, Liz. The replay will always be here. And I'll even email you a link because I'm just like that. Anyway, by now you probably got the picture. The only constant is change. It's happening faster than ever before. In fact, the rate of innovation is so steep. What experts are predicting is a little alarming. Things that take 6 months to 8 months to develop and release will happen in couple days. Right now, we are in a massive socioeconomic transformation, massive transformation period. So how can you achieve success without stress? With all this, Aaron, what the heck? Are you crazy? Well, first of all, the reason I say this is for us to understand that your tolerance for change and stress is like a bucket, right? Like this cup. And you're already dealing with a lot. So that's one of the reasons why you hear well-being and self-care so prominently, is because if you try to take on too much, the cup runneth over, right? And I don't know about you, but mopping up a spill is a real pain in the neck. So, so to keep your cup within reasonable limits, and be able to be adaptable, flexible, seize opportunities and all that, you can't have your cup constantly spewing all over the place. Cannonball blasting through life and just your air everywhere. We need to have some balance and something, right? We need to have space in our cup in order to be adaptable and flexible and to be able to pause. So that's important. The reason I share all this is for us to have an understanding of where we are on our cup, whether we're like here, way up here somewhere, or whether we have space. So let me know where you are on your cup. I'm about to drink from my cup. Very nice tea. I know it should be coffee. I can't drink coffee every day or I'll be, hanging out the ceiling fixture here. Anyway, so how can you achieve success without stress? And because I'm a logic and neuroscience nerd, of course, I have a list. Naturally. Are you kidding? Yes, I have a list. So bear with me. First of all, number one, and by the way, this is where you should spend most of your time. All right. So number one is know your why. Know your why. Why? What do you want to accomplish in this life? What are you here for? What is you? What are you? And this is where you should spend most of your time. And we don't, because launching into action is actually quite quick and easy to do, which is why we are doing that all the time. And we're not spending enough time defining what actions actually matter based on who we are as a person. We're just going through it. And that's not very productive or efficient. We have to know our why. We have to know where the foundation is for us as human beings. And most of us don't bother. We don't bother. We're following the program. We're following the prescripted program. Okay, well, if you want to holistically, I go to college, then I get a career, and then I follow the ladder and I work really hard to move up the ladder. No, that's not necessarily honoring your why. It might, and it might not. So understanding what your why is. You may be asking yourself, okay, what does that mean? Valid question. So what is your why? Well, that's a combination of a variety of things. That's your priorities as an individual. That's your values and your drivers. Also getting to know how you respond to stress, what your work style is, what your gifts and strengths and talents are. By the way, gifts and strengths are slightly different. Gifts are almost like talents, so they're natural to you and oftentimes easily overlooked because, well, they're natural. They're something that's easy for you to do. And a great way of thinking about this is, okay, well, have I ever had someone compliment me on something that was easy for me to do? And I brushed it off because I'm like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. That's a natural talent. Sometimes they're like, wow. Sometimes it's hard to spot. Now, if you're a talented musician, your talent's probably obvious. Mine are several weird different combinations. So one of them is being super efficient. That's a natural talent. I'm able to take complex structures and ideas and really get to the point. That's one of my gifts. It comes natural. I just do it without even thinking about it. That's a gift. You do it without even thinking about it. So knowing your why, and it's a combination of all of these. And there's a variety of ways to get to the end result. And yes, they do take a little bit of time. So sitting down and starting to work through what is my why. Sometimes you can back into this by understanding what really ticks you off. What irritates you? Is it people who are always late for meetings? Well, then you can ask yourself, okay, well, why does that bother me? And back into what your values are. When it comes to your life priorities, here's one that's kind of big. Think of yourself, think of yourself into the future. So if you're at the fruition of your life and you're looking back over your life, what do you want to say you've actually accomplished? What do you want to experience? Because most people at the fruition of their life don't necessarily look back over their life and go, gosh, I wish I worked harder. No, they don't. Okay. So think about that. And also don't push it off to the side and go, oh, well, that's nice to say, but I have bills to pay. Yeah, you do. And that's a portion of your life, but it's not all of it. What else? And there's different ways you can pay your bills. Thank goodness there's different ways you can do that. So getting really familiar with what your why is. Because if you don't, and a lot of us don't, and you're that cannonball blasting through life, you're not leveraging your gifts and strengths, and you are probably unfulfilled and not happy with where you are, chances are. So it's really understanding that why, knowing your gifts, knowing your strengths. Then, once you know your why, do a cost benefits analysis on where you are right now. That's what I'm doing this week. In a way, I'm looking forward to it. In a way, I'm like, oh gosh, I have to do spreadsheets. I hate spreadsheets. That's not my gifts and strengths. It's my husband's gifts and strengths. He's wonderful at spreadsheets. Me, I have no idea. Every year I'm asking him, honey, how do I make a pivot table? And he's, like I told you last year. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I digress. So cost benefits analysis on your life and your career. Where are you right now? And you may be like, what's a cost benefits analysis? Well, basically, what are you doing right now? What actions are you taking? What are you committed to? What's the benefit of it? And what's the cost? What's it costing you? What's the benefit? And yes, it's very subjective because it's you and it's your life and it should be subjective. I mean, there's a logical way to look at it too, but there's some subjectivity in how you feel about it. So when you're looking at this from a logical standpoint, because it's a spreadsheet, and looking at it from the standpoint of, okay, how do I feel about this? It's really important. And let your feelings inform you along with the logic to make a good decision. And that will help you understand, okay, where am I misaligned right now? So I know my why. I spent a lot of time on that. I've done a cost benefits analysis, which you can do anytime on my life, but you can't do the alignment until you actually know your why, because you won't be able to align it back to your why unless you do that work too. So then understand, okay, this is where I am right now. I'm either aligned or not, or maybe I need to make a mild adjustment, a change. Where's my mindset at? Do I need to do a mindset reset? Check in and see what's serving you and what you need to let go of. Do you have some mindset challenges around finances? Do you have some limiting beliefs on how, high of a leadership role you can achieve? Do you have limiting beliefs on anything at all? Because it's important to get tabs on that really quickly, because those limiting beliefs will trip you up. In fact, I'll give you an example of one of mine. Now, I'm sharing here. This is an open safe space, right? I'm sharing something. So I had a limiting belief, and this was several years ago. I was talking with one of my coaching mentors, and I was sharing with him. He was like, oh, well, you know what? I'll send you some executive coaching clients. I was like, oh, well, they have to be okay with having a blunt and to the point coach. My limiting belief was coming up right there. You know what my limiting belief was? My limiting belief was that certain level of executives would not want to work with someone who was more direct and to the point. That was my limiting belief. So I actually almost prohibited this person from giving me coaching clients because of this limiting belief. So if you have a limiting belief, it will raise its head. And then after I got off the call, I was like, oh my gosh, my limiting belief came up and went, and just stood up in front of this opportunity that I could have had. And that's how it works. It just falls out of your mouth when you're not even thinking about it, because it's a subconscious program. That's your limiting belief. So making the subconscious conscious is very important, particularly when it comes to your mindset and limiting beliefs, because it will derail you every time. More subtly, it could be, well, I would go for that opportunity, but if you really want to go for an opportunity, go for the stinking opportunity. Now, beyond that, what else can you do? Well, focus on leveraging your strengths. A lot of times we try to close gaps, and that's great. However, now that I have more candles on my birthday cake, I'm more highly cognizant that, again, I'd love to do all the things. I only have so much time in a given day. So I need to leverage what is working for me, what works, what comes naturally. Leverage those and, again, mitigate those areas where there's a deficiency for you, or find support and help in those areas. Like pivot tables and calling my husband in every year. I need help on pivot table. I know, for those of you who are Excel folks, you're like, what? What's wrong with you? It's my thing. And be ruthless about prioritizing your time based on your why, based on your gifts and your strengths. Be ruthless about your well-being and honoring that. Make it sacred. Because here's the thing. It is so easy for us to just push that to the side, right? So easy for us to push to the side our own self-development, our own well-being, when in fact, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't. And you also can't give something you don't have. So if you don't have time and patience for yourself, then you certainly aren't going to give that to someone else. If you don't have respect for yourself, you can't give it to someone else. That is the law of the universe. You can like it or not, but that's fact. It took me a long time to figure that out and figure out that I can't give what I don't have. And that includes relationships. If you don't love yourself, good luck at loving someone else. Ooh, I went there. Yeah, you're right, I did. And same thing goes for careers. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't have confidence your own, you can't lead yourself, good luck leading someone else. Not going to happen. So we need to be able to focus on our own well-being and our own self-development, and actually put that first sometimes, because it's really, really important. Donna said, so true. Yes. Thank you. I know I'm preaching. I feel like I'm preaching over here. I am preaching a little bit because it's important. It's important. And because I care about you and how you can elevate your career and your life, I want you to take this to heart, because it took me years to learn this, and I've done a lot of research around it. And when it comes to success, it's not it's not just going up the corporate ladder. If that's what success means to you, then sure, okay. But it's not necessarily that case. And when you really start peeling back the layers of the onion, you may find that there's something else in there that actually gives you a lot more fulfillment. You never know. So it's really important to align with your goals and your why, because we get so busy, we're doing things that aren't necessarily serving us. And our mindset isn't helping us, it's actually sabotaging our success. We need to make sure we're in alignment holistically and balanced, because when we're imbalanced is when we're like lurching through life like this crazy cannonball, and it's not necessarily netting us the results we want. Now, once you have aligned your goals with your why, with what you want to get out of your life, because your career supports, you getting what you want out of your life, ideally, communicate them. If you want to become an expert or industry leader or lead teams or whatever that is, communicate that with your supporters. A lot of times we think people should know. Well, they should know because I do X, Y, and Z. No, people are way too busy and distracted. They don't have time or the bandwidth, mental bandwidth, particularly now, to figure out someone else's path. They can't even figure out their own path, much less yours. So you have to communicate that path with them in a nice way. Gosh, I was so excited about X, Y, and Z, or I really am passionate about, leading sales teams, or I really want to grow our business model here. Or I am really excited about quality and continuous improvement. I don't care, whatever it is, excites you and lifts you up and helps you thrive and you can get really into, communicate that thing. Because when people have that information, that's when they can see opportunities and send opportunities your way. They can't do that if they don't know. If that makes sense. So what else can we do? Well, once we communicate our goals, once we have understood what our path is and how we can achieve it, that's when we can start planning. I know, it's a lot, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things. But if we don't do a little bit of homework, we're just out there spinning. We're out there working hard and hoping something will pay off. And that's not necessarily how it happens. It really does boil down to what gives you energy and what makes your heart sing and where you thrive. And that's when success becomes easy. It doesn't become stressful. Now, I am not saying that all of a sudden it doesn't feel like you're working. People who say that, they're full of it. Okay. I'm doing what I love to do. And some days it's work. So, but it's not necessarily stressful. It's something that I can be excited about and passionate about and happy and fulfilled and enjoy doing because I'm leveraging my strengths. I know my why and I have goals that are aligned with that. And that's when success is not stressful. Success flows. Have you ever heard of the state of flow? Well, you get into the state of flow because you're working in an area that aligns with your natural gifts and talents. That's how people get into the state of flow, because they're doing something that comes natural to them. You cannot get in the state of flow if you're doing something that, while you may be very skilled at it, you don't like doing. It doesn't happen. You can't force the state of flow into anything specifically. But if you have a natural gift and talent for it, and it's something that you are loving to do, then that's when the state of flow happens. I'll give you an example. State of flow. I get this late at night when I'm too tired to think. No idea why. It just happens. So I wrote the outline for my next book, which strangely is titled Success Without Stress. Now, it'll probably be a mini guide, to be honest with you. It won't be this big volume. I like short and to the point. I know it's shocking, short and to the point books. And I wrote down the whole outline right there. There it is. And this was at 11:30 at night, probably, where I was too tired to think. But that was a state of flow. That's an example of something just flowing from you. Sometimes people get their best ideas in the shower. Why is that? It's because you've unchained your brain from thinking about everything else. Speaking of thinking about everything else, one thing that will get in our way is our attachment to thinking about a lot of things. We love to think, and our brains are trying to help us. So don't get mad at your brain for yakking at you at 3 a.m. when you'd like to go back to sleep, because it's doing its job. So don't get mad. It's doing its job. Don't get mad at it. Just write down whatever it is. Keep this pad of paper beside your bed so you can write it down and so you can go back to sleep. So if you're interested in helping reduce your mental chaos, if you will, and being more clear-headed and more confident, check out my Thanksgiving special, which I'll be happy to put a link to in the comments as well. And because I did talk about in my Thanksgiving special exactly how to clear your mind and have more confidence and clarity, and also have more innovation, more ideas. So for all of you tuning in now and later, I hope this has been helpful to you to achieve success without stress, because when you are operating in your quote unquote zone of genius, if you will, that's when you get the most clarity. That's when you get the best, experiences. That's when you have the best ideas, and that's when things come more naturally to you. So for all of you, Happy New Year. We'll have a great year ahead of us, and it will be interesting because there's no constant except change. Just know this. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. We'll see how long the poinsettia stays alive. Hopefully it gets too big to stay in the picture, so I have to move it elsewhere. But we'll see. That'll be another thing for Coffee Chat. Thank you, Cornetia, for tuning in. Thank all of you for tuning in. And I hope at the deep parts of my heart, and my hope is for you to have a wonderful, wonderful 2022. Let's have some bright moments this year. Let's have some freedom from fear. Let's have some certainty. Let's achieve our goals. Let's have some space and grace. Let's have better clarity and confidence. And also, don't forget my free workshop. So again, registration opens up this Friday, and the workshop itself will kick off the 1st of February, but officially it'll be opening up Friday the 7th, registration for my free workshop. So if you want to get ahead of the game, just send me an email and I will put you on the list. And no, I won't spam you. If you are a subscriber of mine already, you know I send out about, maybe 1 or 2 emails a month. So I'm not a rapid emailer because we have too much email. So I want to make sure that all my messages to you are valuable and something important. So again, my friends, keep elevating. Until next time.